Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we are continue with faction overviews. With this week, the Easterlings of Rhun. So without further ado, let's just dive in and get about it. First things first, the starting regions as Rhun. As Rhun, you start with just one region, the city of Mithlond in the region of Khazad-Dûm. The majority of this faction is again depending on a script, so there will be some bits and bobs I will not yet tell because it's part of the script. So starting army, as Rhun, you have a pretty large starting army with Lokan Rukar and about 7 units in Mithlond. And Camargos with the same amount of units just by the fort over here. So a pretty large starting army at start. But do note, these are not the best units. They are, well, they do their job and their job is mostly dying. So don't expect too much from this army, but it's a pretty huge starting army. Then dealing with bodyguards. First we have Lokan Rukar, who has your regular bodyguard, the low grim bodyguard, which is a halberdier unit. Pretty strong, not too bad. And you have Camargos, who comes with Lothlorien, which is a mid to late tier archer unit. It's your best archer, so use them wisely. And that are your generals. You do have a family tree, so there will become more of age. Uldur will be the first within 4 turns, I think. I think you come at turn 6 or something, so pretty early. But for now you have to do it with these two guys. You have a spy Kargi over here, but you don't have a diplomat yet, so you need to train him if you want to start diplomatic missions. And dealing with the geographical area, we are in the lands of Rhovanion, but we are pretty much on the open plains. You have a river over here. It's not much, but something. Towards the north are a few rivers that can be used to block off the dwarves or Dale if they come from there. We have a mountain over here that could be used to block Dorwinion, kind of, but not really. I think the river is a better choice for that. Although Bree and Manrikis is a city you really want to take. So not really defensible, but not the worst either. Then dealing with expansion. Now as you see, there are a lot of rebel settlements around you. For your script you need to take the majority of them. But my personal choice to go is take Matram first, go to Emmahat, take Bree and Manrikis, Eljar and Rulbar, and expand from there on. Not go right away from last, because it has a huge army. And I think it have units that's way better than yours. So take other cities. Matram is a good choice because it could be a very wealthy settlement. It has some mines and it has trade access to both Mordor and Khan. So good choice over there. Else I would suggest you go straight up north to Elgar and Rulbar. But do note, Elgar is a castle. And Rulbar I think is a city. Yes, it's a town. But it only has access to your northern kingdoms, and both of well, at least one of them is your enemy. So I wouldn't fancy going there. Then dealing with custom battle maps. Well, there are not a lot around. I think maybe Thel is custom, although it could be a regular Elven town. I'm not sure. I haven't played on that map yet. But besides that, I think the nearest custom settlement might be technically the Morenin. But one you might fight is all the way up here, Eskarot, Dil, and Erebor. No, I've got Kirat Katol is also custom, so that might be the first one you're really going to fight over. Besides that, not a lot of custom battle maps around you. And dealing with diplomacy. As Rhun, you start allied to the evil factions. You are a follower of Sauron, so you start at allied to both Mordor and Khan, but not with Harad. So you don't have any relationship with them, and you start at war with the Dwarves, who are your biggest enemies for now. But do note you don't start with Dorwinion. Don't start at war with Dorwinion either. So if you really want to, you can choose to befriend them. Although it won't be easy, because the AI is very much set not liking you and going to war with you. And let's take a look at the building browser, because for Rhun, well, there is not much special. You have your regular military line, you have 4 tiers of blacksmith, all the way up to the armorer. You have your master builder's hut, you have ports, but you don't have ships apparently. Oh no, your ships are locked. Roads, food production, nothing special there. First thing that comes up is the Warriors Guild. It's your only guild. First tier only gives melee weapon bonus, and the second tier gives you the Dragon Race Guildsman. It's a unit that can be trained in your regular barracks as well, if I'm right. Yes. Requires quite some culture, but here you get one available right away. But do know this building can only be built once in your faction. Every faction gets one, thus if you want a second one, you need to conquer a city who has one. I think the extra unit does give it some value. I'm not really a fan of the Warriors Guild most of the times, because well, melee weapon bonus is alright, but the morale bonus is just useless. I really try to avoid them. But it's your only guild, and it's something. Your culture comes from the Dark Shrines. First tier, giving culture bonus and a population growth bonus right away. So, a really nice start. It all both increased at second tier and also giving some happiness bonus, and the third tier is actually really good. 1 free upkeep, 10% happiness, public order bonus, and reduced training cost is a nice addition. It's not, none of this is really game changing, but especially when you get all the way up to the Dark Temple, even in newly conquered settlements, it takes around 10 turns or something, even with the highest tier of Mason's Guild. So it will take quite a while before you get there. But it is nice to have such thing. Oh, you also has the Merchants Guild, but it cannot be trained in castles, apparently. First tier increases tradable goods, and the second tier also provides you with a merchant. Really powerful guild actually. And I forgot this one, the trade routes, and that's because castles can build marketplaces, and marketplaces are required for the trading, the trade routes. This is actually a really useful building because it can really boost your income, especially at the start of the game. So first, it only requires the grain exchange, an increased tradable goods, and a flat income bonus. And I see not only it requires grain exchange, but also dirt parts. So dirt parts and grain exchange. The second tier requires market and roads. That might be a little bit tough. Third tier, the bazaar and the roads. So really useful buildings, and all the time it increased the flat income to up to 200, which can in the end really add up. Can make Mithlond, for example, a really wealthy settlement, combined with the increase in tradable goods. So it is a building that really even strengthened the value of a marketplace and even a port. So if you can build it, don't hesitate, just build it. It's really worth it. So that are the buildings. As far as I'm aware of, your cities are not locked behind the script, so that is at least nice. Because now we are dealing with the script of Rhun. Rhun has a Unite the Clan script. You start as leader of the Daratai clan, and you need to conquer your neighbors to get the other clans on board on your conquest to victory. First we go to the south to Mataram and Angmar. These cities provide Carnish units. So, not sure what the name is. Can I reach it with the spy? Oh, don't. I think you have some of those units. Yes, the Baroon Raiders and the Baroon Hunters, especially, but there might be a few more in there. So Mataram and Angmar provides Carnish units. If we continue to Bur and Manrikes, they provide the Belgard units, mainly some spear and javelin units, which could be a really good, which are actually pretty good line infantry for you. If you then first move up to Elgar and Ruhrbar, those provide the Aralat units, some armor piercing and some cavalry units. Last but not least, if you then also take Lest, Lest provides you with your boats and with a kind of bomb throwing unit, the Udesh Marines. Pretty good units, really nice. Could be very dangerous, but I would keep them to the last because the garrison in Lest is provided of all the other clans and is pretty strong, and you will not be able to take it right away. If you have taken those cities, the first part of the United Clans script is fulfilled. If you then also take Strondast, Karasan and Saint-Anouilh, you unlock the Siruit Chariot, which is the last unit of your scripted roster. And therefore you need to take Dorwinion's lands. Alright. That is the major script of Rhun. There is a small script, which is the Dragon Relics script, and therefore you need to conquer a few cities. Eskarot, Onazanar, and I think Erebor. Let me just quickly look it up. Framsburg, all the way up here. Framsburg. So Framsburg Onazana and Asgaroth requires to unlock it. It is said that you might be able to deal with it with sending a diplomat or something. No, it now just say conquering the cities. It used to say send a spy to Onazanar, send a diplomat to Asgaroth and Framsburg, but it never works. You really need to take the cities, then you can claim the ancillaries, because it's not more than a few ancillaries, which boosts your faction leader. No, the general that takes the city. So once you've taken the city, you get the ancillary, and it boosts the general that takes the city. But it's just a minor script. It's not game changing or something. But it do set you to go to the north. So that is the campaign side of Rhun. I will see you in a moment on the battlefield with Rhun's roster. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the battlefield side of Rhun. As you quickly oversee, things are a little bit different from normally. Normally I have all cavalry on the right, infantry in the center and missiles on the left. But I have changed it up a bit just to help you with the script part of Rhun. So at the first we start with the Daratai clan. And we start with the Daratai clansmen, your lowest of lowest. Who are basically there to just die most of the time, once you have unlocked better units. With an attack of 4, a charge of 4 and a defense of 6, it's alright-ish. It's better than Snagas, I would say, but that's about all. They do have shields, so they are kind of protected against archer fire, but they are pretty poor actually. They have poor morale response, no bonuses in movement or against certain units, just in terrain. Terrain bonuses are mostly applied to morale, I guess, but I'm not really sure. But yes, it's for all your infantry is basically the same. Then you go to your Daratai warriors, who are at the first glance better than the clansmen, and they prove it with an attack of 7, which is almost double that of the clansmen, charge of 4 and a defense of 9. They are substantially better than the clansmen. They have average morale response, and they wield double swords. They don't have any shields, so be careful for archer fire. Especially if you're going to take Mataram and Enmahad. Watch out for the endless rains of Khandish arrow fire, because it's destroyed armies. Then first dealing with your Daratai archers, the Daratai hunters. Melee attack of 2, missile attack of 2, charge of 2, a defense of 2. Very boring. And very bad. They have poor morale response, 80 missiles, 150 meter range, and a low accuracy. Just terrible archers actually. If we then continue to the Daratai crossbowmen, right away, way better. 3 melee attack, not that great. 6 missile attack and armor piercing. 2 charge, 6 defense. Average morale response, 26 missiles, 140 meter range, and an average accuracy. So as all crossbows, they have some less range, but normally a better accuracy and effective against armor. So choose these guys over the archers all the time. So if we then have to deal with our first clan, and I start with the clan I would take out first. Those are the Khanish cities, Matram and Enmahad. These 2 units are for certain yours. There are listed more in the battle map roster, but I'm not certain you'll get access to all of them. But these two I'm sure you have, so I will list them, and everything else is just a bonus. Just see it that way. The Baroon Hunters. These will form your archer line once you have conquered them. With a melee attack of 4, a missile attack of 3, charge of 4, and a defense of 8, these guys can hold themselves both when firing arrows and when done with their arrows and need to be in melee. They have average morale spawns 24 missiles, 170 meter range, and an average accuracy. Just so much better than the Daratai Hunters. And they come with a horse archer variant, the Baroon Raiders. With a 6 melee attack, 4 melee attack, a 4 missile attack, a 5 charge, and an 8 defense. They are quite similar. I think their attack is somewhat higher, just like their raw missile damage. And that's because they are on the horse. They have average morale spawns. They are 20% faster than other similar cavalry. 32 missiles, 130 meter range, and a high accuracy. So you see, they have some less range, higher accuracy, because you can't take longbows on a horse, I guess. So that is the first clan units. Then the second one, which is actually way easier to take, because it only requires one settlement. Boer and Manrikes is the Balkot clan, and we start with the Balkot Spearmen with a 3 attack, a 4 charge, and a 30 defense. As I said, these are the guys that can hold your line while other units charge from the flanks. Just a pretty good line infantry. They have average morale, impetuous morale spawns, bonus against all kind of mounts. Just a good spear infantry, especially early tier spear units are pretty good, but they tend not to kill that much, so you really need a killing unit, a strike unit on the flanks. They are supported by a javelin unit. The Balkot Tribesmen with a 3 melee attack, a 7 missile attack, a 4 charge, and a 5 defense. These are capable javelin men, but don't get them in melee after, because they will die pretty easily. Yeah, they have poor morale, impetuous morale spawns, 3 missiles, 55 meter range, and an average accuracy. So, just your average javelin units. And these require Boer and Manrikes. Then, the last unit, no, not the last unit. One of the last units you can get from your tribes, the Ar-Adunaim units, and we start with the Ar-Adunaim Dragon Guard with a 5 attack, which is armor piercing, and skilled against mounts, which means it gets small bonus against mounts. 4 charge, 11 defense. These are the units you want on the flanks of the Balkot Spearmen, ready to strike into the enemy and kill them when they are distracted by the spearmen. They have good morale spawns, bonus against all mounts. Just a pretty good unit. They are supported by a cavalry unit, the Ar-Adunaim Dragon Riders. With a 5 attack, a 7 charge, and an 11 defense. These are, especially early tiers, pretty good archers. Pretty good horsemen, of course. They have average morale spawns, no secondary weapon, although I think they are seen as strike infantry, strike cavalry. Shock cavalry it is, actually. As shock cavalry, so I will be careful not to keep these guys too long in prolonged melee. And these are just Dragon Guard on a horse again. It's the team of most tribesmen, but it does make sense. Why would you outfit your infantry different than your cavalry? I would ask you. Right, these are actually your early tier units that comes from the tribes. Then we make a small detour to these guys, because they come from Lest. Once you've taken Lest, you get access to the Odesh Marines with a 9 melee attack, a 9 missile attack, a 7 charge, and a 30 defense. It doesn't seem too special, but in melee you will see they will perform pretty well. They have flasks and they burn the enemy target. They are effective against armor, skilled against mounts, good morale, impetuous morale response, bonus against mounts, 4 missiles, 60 meter range, and an average accuracy. And they only come from a coastal region, so they require coastal region. And they come from, you'll unlock them by taking Lest. Now, before we go to the Suryut chariots, we first take the rest of your roster, because the rest is actually pretty mainline and is not required to be unlocked, so you will have access to them all the time. And since version 5 has the barracks event removed, you can also rush your second tier of barracks in Mithlond and start turning out these guys and take your surrounding settlements with those units, although it will be pretty expensive actually. And I don't think you have enough time to do so, but it's all up to you. We start with the Low Flag Rim with a 6 attack, which is again armor piercing, 5 charge, 70 defense, mostly in armor. These are, well, your sword and board unit, but armor piercing. Good morale response, no bonuses, just some regular sword and board unit. And with the armor piercing ability, enough flavor to them. They have these axes and these maces, which just blast through armor, I guess. They are supported by a pike unit, the Low Camp Rim, with a 4 attack, a 4 charge, and a 50 defense. It's actually quite a good pike unit. Do note, for pike units you need to attack, you need to triple the attack to get the estimate fighting capabilities, because the pike animation is pretty strong, and therefore the base attack value has been lowered. They have good morale response, bonus against mounts, and not restricted. So ideally you want these guys to hold the line and the Low Flag Rim to charge from the flanks and deal the damage. Then we have an odd unit in between, but no more fitting in my opinion, the Faerûn Mercenaries. With a 12 attack, a 7 charge, and a 60 defense. These are actually really good stats, and I doubt whether I have to put me on mainline or maybe your elite, because attack wise these are good numbers, but defensively wise they're a little bit off, so I put them in the mainstream. Skilled against mounts, good morale response, no further bonuses, and they are mercenary units, so the cost varies. And I think very fitting in the Rhun overview. Then we go to our left, because there's one unit left over here, and that's the Loknar Rim. Do note this is the bodyguard unit of Camargos, so you have one of these available right away. With a 5 attack, a 5 missile attack, a 3 charge, and a 40 defense. These guys are not only capable of firing away, but also fighting in melee pretty well after. They are only one short of the Low Flag Rim, which is actually pretty good for archer unit. They have flaming arrows. It doesn't really do much. I think it slightly increases the damage they're dealing, but fire is basically the existence of Rhun. They are all about dragons and fire and things, so it was quite fitting for them to have some fire arrows. but I don't think it does more than just a visual thing. You have good morale response, 30 missiles, 180 meter range, and a high accuracy. And as you see, these are your last mainline archers. So these are your best archers. They're not great. They cannot compete with, for example, the Avari units of Dorwinion, the Ranger units, both Dorwinion and Dalekenfield, but they will outclass the Dwarven archers. So all with all, just a decent archer unit. Then we go all the way up to our right, and there we have the Pride of Rhun's horsecraft ship, the Lothlorien, with a 10 attack, a 12 charge, a 24 defense. These are just tanks on the field. They inspire nearby troops. They have very good morale response. They are slightly slower because all of the armor, just like tanks actually. And they are a shock unit, so they have a secondary attack which is lower than a primary attack. Just like the Ar-Adunaim cavalry, you want them charging in and out of the enemy, dealing as much damage as possible, and withdraw and repeat. They are, well, I do really like their visual actually. They really have that feeling of, I am a monstrous tanking beast of a unit, and well, they actually are pretty dangerous if used well, very vulnerable when not. Then we go into your elite units, and we start with the Lothlorien, who, and I said it in the last overview when we first saw these units, I thought these pair were javelins. They really have a really strange way of holding their spears. If you compare this to over here, the Balkath, or the, yeah, this is what I expect a spear unit to hold their spear. And this is how I expect a javelin unit to hold their spear. Look, just like the tribesmen who actually have javelins, and they don't have a spear when they're done. They have knives or swords or something in between. But enough about that. The Lothlorien, a pretty good spear unit with an 8 attack, a 6 charge, and a 28 defense. So, well, you can throw at these guys whatever you want, but they will hold till eternity. So, very good defense. This is the unit that can use sharpened stakes for you. Have very good morale response, bonus against mounts, and not restricted. I think, no, not restricted. So, pretty good unit, and available everywhere. Unlike these guys, if I'm right. The Dragon Race Guildsman with 30 attack, an 8 charge, and a 23 defense. These are the guys you want to have on the flanks of the Lothlorien once you get there. A really strike unit. Frighten nearby enemies. Powerful charge. 8 charge is indeed pretty good. Very good morale response. No bonuses, but these guys are restricted to your hardlands. Your hardlands are the cities that you need to conquer for the United Clan script. So, Mithlond, Boer-Manricus, Enmahat, Mataram, Algar, and Rubar. That is where you can train these units. Maybe you might be able to train them in the Dorwinion lands, but I don't think those are listed as your hardlands. So I think it's just the cities that you need to conquer to United Scripts, United Clans. Alright, then we have the Sullied Chariots, which is actually kind of a niche unit. It's an archer unit with a 17 attack, a 9 missile attack, a 30 charge, and a 20 defense, and 3 hit points. but they are chariots and they are incredibly hard to master their usage. They could be very powerful, only if you are able to use it. Most people, no offense, but most people can't use them. So in my advice would be, if you haven't mastered the skill of chariot use, keep them on the back, let them just continue to fire arrows on the enemy and deal some death with that. They have flaming arrows and armor piercing melee attacks, so once they're done with firing their arrows, or when they are stuck in melee, they have armor piercing capabilities. They inspire nearby troops, they frighten nearby enemies, skilled against mounts, 50 missiles, 200-meter range, and high accuracy. So they are basically Lothlorien Rim on a chariot, but they have some higher range, because you can stand on a plateau which is some higher, and so you can cover more ground, I guess, or something. At least the insane amount of arrows is I can explain, because you have these arrow holders. What's the name? I forgot it. So you can stack a lot of arrows in there. And then, like on a horse, on a horse you have also pretty high accuracy normally. So I think it's the best of all things. They are pretty powerful, but they are a really niche unit to use. Then last but not least, your bodyguard. The Lothlorien bodyguard. With an 11 attack, a 5 charge, a 22 defense, they are, well, good unit. They are effective against armor. They frighten nearby enemies, skilled against mounts, very good morale spawns, but not locked. As you have seen, we have not a single unit that has a locked morale, which is an incredible good feature, because if you want to, you can save all of your units. And also your general, if it's a really important general. Lokan Rukar, for example. Besides that, so no lock morale, bonus against mounts. Oh, and that's basically it. Let me take a look to the last thing. Yes, the Syriot archers. I've already had a feeling. These guys can only be trained in your heartlands. Again, your heartlands contains the cities that you need to conquer to unite your clans. I don't think the Dorwinion lands are in there as well. Just the rebel settlements that you need to conquer. Lest, Boer-Manrikes, Enmahad, Mataram, Algar, and Ruba. Cannot say it enough. Just those units. Right, I'm gonna give the majority to the AI. Let's find out who we're gonna face, and I'm gonna try to have some fun with both Dash Marines and the Syriot Archers. But first things first, let's find out who we are facing next week. Which might be sooner, because this is a recording. Because last recording had some audio issues. So these guys may come sooner than you think. I see a lot of brown. Well, actually, majority is brown. See some horses, some infantry. Nothing too special. Brown banners. Green banners as well. That must be... They're not supposed to be green. There might be some I have missed. Seems some black banners, which I also missed. So green, black, brown, yellow banners. We are Dealing with Dunland next week, who has units from all over. The black, oh, those are the Orth and Guard of Isengard. And the green, where are the green? Over here. The Rohirrim archers. Well, can you deal with those? Yeah, look in Asrim, they're not gonna win that. Just fire. Is there somewhere I can just use my Dash Marines? Oh, my Lothlorien is not liking it. What's happening? They're right in melee. How the hell did you get that? The AI sometimes... Oh. Yes, I can line you up. Yeah, you see, it's actually not that great. I expected more of it. It deals some damage, I guess. It's not that great, actually. Unfortunate. Oh, who are you fighting? Oh, you are just... How do they melee fight, actually? That dealt more damage than anything else in melee, I guess. Though most stand up right away. As you see, our line is quite capable to hold. And let's speed this up. Guys, just... Is that the enemy general? I think it is. Yeah, because my general is still standing in here like a moron. I think it's pretty much over. Something? Not really, actually. My Dash Marines are not liking what's happening now. Hunters are pretty good, actually. I've tried Dunland because it's one of the contenders for next campaign, and the hunters are pretty good. I like those. I like those stone throwing units, those slingers. Alright, and that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you soon in another video of Divide and Conquer. But until then, goodbye.